Hello there guys, welcome back to Blues Fans TV for another Premier League match preview of mine as Chelsea are to take on Norwich at home at Stamford Bridge, with the kickoff being at 8:15 p.m. UK time tomorrow night on Tuesday night, Tuesday evening, whatever you want to call it. And of course, if you are new to Blues Fans TV, please be sure to subscribe. That'd be massively appreciated. And of course, make sure you drop a like on the video. It helps it push out to more viewers. So honestly, every single like means a lot. It's just one small click of a button. It's really quick, doesn't cost you any money. Doesn't cost you any time really. It's literally just one click of the button. So go down below and drop a like. I'll give you a second. Thank you for dropping a like, massively appreciate that, but enough waffle now, let's just get into the video. And of course, a big talking point today is the fact that Manchester City's two-season Champions League ban was completely overturned by the CAS, by the CAS, by the Court of Arbitration for Sport, meaning to qualify for the Champions League next season, we, or every other club, have to finish within the top four. Other than that, I won't get into the subject. Let's just say that I wasn't necessarily surprised, and football isn't always fair. Football isn't always fair. And moving on from that, there was at least some, good news on this weekend, because Chelsea was shocking. I'm a Ferrari fan. Ferrari was shocking. So my weekend was generally quite poor. But good old Bournemouth and Dominic Solanke did us a very, very solid yesterday by battering Leicester 4-1, with Solanke scoring his first ever Premier League goals as well. And alongside that, not himself, but Bournemouth, also getting Soyuncu, their best defender by far in my opinion, sent off for misconduct, meaning he will almost certainly receive a 3-game ban and miss the rest of the season, which of course is brilliant because, the less points Leicester get, the easier it is for us to finish within the top four. And all of that means that we are still third, although Manchester United only played tonight against Southampton, of course. But we are currently, as I'm recording this, still third, and top four is still more than on. But, let's just start with the win tomorrow and then let's just go from there. And even though that result by Bournemouth did brighten up my mood, our performance on Saturday was still a disgrace. It was absolutely shocking. Like I said in my review at the time, from every player, but also Frank Lampard, it was just really, really poor. And I want to see some changes. So before getting into the team that I would like to see fielded for the game tomorrow, and then on this side of the screen, the team that I think Frank Lampard will pick, so basically my predicted 11. Let's get into some team news that Frank Lampard revealed in his press conference. First of all, Kante is still out injured, which is bloody brilliant. There is some positive news because the boss did say that there is a chance he'll be fit for Manchester United in the FA Cup semi-final on Sunday. But for tomorrow's game against Norwich, Kante is still out injured. As for Andreas Christensen, who of course had to be taken off at half-time on Saturday against Sheffield United because he picked up a bit of an ankle injury, he is actually back in the squad for tomorrow, so that is good. Whether he's available or fit to start or not, I don't know, but I strongly assume he is. There was no specification of Fikayo Tomori, who of course has been out injured for a while, but he has been pictured in training, and before Sheffield United, before that game, Lampard said that he's very close. So I would kind of assume he is available for selection. Whether he will be selected, we'll just have to wait and see, I guess. But now coming to my team, and the team that I personally would field, of course, on this side of the screen. Now for me in goal, it has to remain Kepa. Couldn't do anything about any of the 3 goals he conceded. Did really well in the initial save before the rebound for the 1-0. Kurt Zouma, in my opinion, has to stay as part of the centre-backs pairing as well. And next to him, I would actually start Fikayo Tomori if he is fit. If he is fit, I would just start him. I know it's risky because he hasn't played in so long. But really, can it be any worse than Christensen or Rudiger? Christensen in the last 2 games, Rudiger when he came on. Can Tomori really be any worse? I don't know. Usually I said, also in my podcast with Alex Goldberg, I said I kind of want us to finally start forming a centre-back partnership. So from that argument onwards, you should kind of stick with Christensen if he is ready to start. But I don't know, he just annoys me. They all just annoy me. And really, honestly, when he came on, you can't start that. You can't try to clear the ball like that. For me, Reece James also stays the right back, even though he has been poor. And I need more concentration from him. How he got done by so easily for the second goal. And generally, he just sometimes seems not lack effort, but kind of lack effort. It seems like he's lacking effort, even though that's certainly not it. It's not clocking it quick enough sometimes, and it's not a lack of IQ or footballing IQ for him. But he just needs to be more on it. But he's still better than Alonso, hence why he stays in the team for me. And Azpilicueta then, of course, obviously, remains at left back. But then coming to the midfield 3, for me as the DM, because I'm still going with a 4-3-3 formation with 2 attacking number 8 ahead of the number 6, it's still going to be Jorginho for me. I think he was decent in the first half before we switched formations, but not good by any means. He should have been more vocal, and he should have been a bit better with his passing and a bit quicker, especially. But then again, he hasn't played in a long time. You know, if you compare it to our first game back against Villa, which was everyone's first game back, well, they weren't exactly quick in that either. So I guess you kind of have to let him off a little bit for that. But his second half performance was poor, although I blame that much more on Lampard for leaving Jorginho on the pitch in the two-man midfield. We know that doesn't work. But because Kante is still out injured, Billy Gilmour, of course, is still out injured, and in my opinion, Kovacic still isn't a sole DM, you know, I would stick with Jorginho. But like I said, he needs to be more vocal and needs to take a bit more responsibility and take a bit more of a leadership role on than he did against Sheffield, in my opinion. But then coming to the right centre mid spot, Ruben Loftus-Cheek has to start. I'm not having it any other way. Ruben Loftus-Cheek starts this game. How on earth has he still not started a game? I know he's not 100% fit, but it's not like Barkley's been, you know, the player of the bloody century. I know he scored a few goals and given a few assists, but you need Ruben in there. Don't bring him on with 3-0 down already. Like, it's like you're mucking him off. Infuriating me. Then in the left centre mid spot, it still should be Mason Mount, in my opinion. He was the one taken off at half time, so he's a bit fresher from that point of view, and also he's just better than Barkley, quite frankly. At left wing, it remains Christian Pulisic for me. Was also taken off quite early in the game against Sheffield, so it should be fairly fresh. But then on the other side, I will make a change. I would personally start Callum Hudson-ODOI over Willian. If we want him, if we want Hudson-ODOI as a valid option from the bench for the remainder of the season for United and for Liverpool and Wolves, he needs some game time at some point, and that's not always just coming from the bench. And also, Willian was poor against Sheffield United and could probably do with a rest as well, considering he started every single game since the restart. So, you know, it's not just because Willian is poor, also to give him a rest, but I just want to see some changes. I think we've got to try a couple different things. And then up front, for me, it should be Olivier Giroud, although I do actually believe that Tammy Abraham is better suited to playing Norwich as the opponent as they are. Of course, I will touch on them a little bit more later on. But they don't just sit, you know, with a, you know, just two lines of four, I guess, whatever you want to call it. And Tammy's pace could be very useful against an opponent like that, but he's just not be good enough to warrant a start. And realistically, yeah, he's quick, but his touches are not good enough, his passing isn't good enough, his movement isn't good enough. Okay, his finishing was good against Palace, but other than that, he's just not being quite honest, so it has to be Olivier Giroud for me. So that is the team that I would personally field, and now coming to the team that I think Frank Lampard will go with. As for the back five, Kepa still in goal. Christensen and Zuma, I think, will remain the centre-back partnership if Christensen is fit to start. If not, maybe he'll try tomorrow, but I think Lampard will think it's too risky to give him his first start after so long in the, you know, tough and tricky situation that we are in, where we just need to get wins. But I just don't think Rudiger helped himself. So if Christensen is fit, I think he starts next to Zuma again, and that's Billy Quetta. This time, actually, in my opinion, goes to right back, with Alonso going to left back, because I actually think that Lampard is a bit annoyed with Reece James after just a few too many poor performances, and even in the attacking phase of the game, not really helping us as much as, you know, we would expect from Reece James after his other performances previous in the season. So, you know, if he was at least banging every cross perfectly onto Giroud's or Tammy's head, you know, that's a different story. But because he's not doing that either, I don't think Lampard will accept the defensive frailties that he does offer. Not that Alonso doesn't, but I feel like, I just have a feeling that Lampard will go with Alonso. But then coming to the midfield three, I think he'll just have to stick with Jorginho, if he does stick with the same formation that I went with and that he has gone with for all of the games since the restart, really. Because he doesn't really have another option. You know, Kante's still out, Gilmour's still out, but I do actually think there is a chance he risks Kovacic just the 6, but I still think Jorginho is the more likely. And then, like I said, I do hope that he will start Ruben. If there is any game to start him in, it's Norwich. So start Ruben Loftus-Cheek next to Mason Mount. I think that will be it for Lampard as well. And then a front three of an unchanged front three compared to, well, I guess the Palace game, because Pulisic still on the left, Willian still on the right, but Giroud back into the team compared to the Sheffield United lineup. Or, because I kind of have two particular lineups today, Lampard changes the formation to help Jorginho out a little bit. And he could do. I'm really not sure what he will do. I think this is arguably a little bit more likely even than playing Kovacic as the number 6. Because if he does want to help Jorginho out a little bit, but knows he doesn't, there's no point playing Kovacic there, I think he'll stick with the same back 5, but go with a 4-2-3-1 instead of a 4-3-3. And then with Kovacic and Jorginho as basically the double pivot and Mason Mount in front of them in the number 10 role. Although I would quite like Ruben Loftus-Cheek there as well, if we were to go for that. But, you know, if we are to go for that, I'm pretty sure Lampard will stick with Mason Mount. But then have the same front three as in my other predicted 11 of Pulisic on the left, Willian on the right, and Giroud up front. I could see that one as well. I'm not sure which one he, will go with. Leave me your thoughts on it down in the comment section below, I guess. As for the game itself, we have a tendency to bounce back really well from bad performances and results. But we really need to do that tomorrow night. We need to do that tomorrow night. We need to show more personality. We need to be more vocal, especially the likes of Jorginho if he does start, and Azpilicueta, because they are the captain. So I need more leadership from them. I require it. And as well as that, we need much, much, much faster passing. I mean, much faster. On the weekend, it literally felt like they took 4 or more touches before every single pass they played, with a couple of exceptions, Mason Mount being one of them. But literally, we were so slow. It was ridiculous. And there needs to be way more movement. If the opponent, which I don't think Norwich will manage and try to do, but if the opponent, again, like Sheffield did, stops our wingers of getting into the game, especially in the final third, the wingers need to drop deeper and allow the attacking aides to fill the half spaces around the striker. It just needs to happen like that. We can't just keep doing the same thing for the entire game pretty much until Lampard from the side changes it if it doesn't work. And, you know, doesn't work in this case is a very strong word because, you know, we didn't even create anything. Do you know what I mean? Like, if we tried the same thing because we didn't score but we created chances, that's fine. Keep trying the same thing because it's just about the finish and the clinicalness is lacking. But if you don't even create chances, don't just keep doing the same thing. The players need to be more flexible, and that's why it needs leadership on the pitch as well to start, you know, doing those things, I guess. You know, it's ridiculous, and I'm not going to lie. We also need to run more and be stronger, regardless of whether we have Jorginho in there or not. We can be much more physical than we were on Saturday. We just absolutely can be, and we need to be. And like I said, I want Ruben LOFTUS-CHEEK and Callum Hudson-ODOI in that team. And I want them, especially Ruben, to prove to me and to everybody else how good they are and how good I personally know, especially Ruben, can be. And they just really need to get in by the scruff of the neck, especially if they both start. Like I said, I don't expect Hudson-ODOI to start actually, but if Ruben starts, take the game by the scruff of the neck and show up. Show up, because we need those kind of players right now. We need the players with the talent. Ross Barkley is a decent player, but Ross Barkley isn't anyone near as talented as Ruben LOFTUS-CHEEK. So if Ruben gets the chance, he needs to show up and take that chance, which he just absolutely has to. And we just need to go from there. Like I said, quicker passing, more pace, and we need to be clinical. But I can't even say we need to be more clinical than in the Sheffield game because we didn't even create any bloody chances. Giroud had a header and Tammy had one by the far post. But other than that, that was it. You know, I can't even complain about not being clinical enough on the weekend. We just need to be better in everything. And especially the concentration at the back, because that was shocking. But that's enough about Chelsea, and now let's touch on Norwich. And of course, they are the first team to have officially been relegated this season with just 21 points from 35 games so far, after their quite shocking 4-0 defeat to West Ham on the weekend. I mean, they allowed Mikel Antonio to score 4 goals. You've got to be pretty bad to allow that, really. And to be honest, even though they're a decent footballing team, and I kind of respect the fact that they tried to stay up by properly playing football, not just parking the bus as a promoted team, they deserve to be relegated, really. Because up until now, they conceded the most goals, and they scored the least out of anyone in the league. So, you know, if that doesn't deserve to be relegated, I don't know what does, even though I guess in some games you could argue they were a little bit unlucky. And their recent form, you know, shows the same. They did beat Spurs on penalties in the FA Cup before the break, and also they beat Leicester in the 1-0 in the game before that. But since the break, it's just been one defeat after the other, as you can see on the screen. I can't even get the win against Leicester on the screenshot. It's that long ago. So, you know, that form really isn't very good at all. They do pretty much always line up in a 4-2-3-1 formation. And like I said, really do tend to try and play football rather than parking the bus. You know, also shown by their possession stats across the season against teams in the very bottom half of the table. They usually actually have more of the ball, and even against bigger teams, they kind of aren't far off 50% either. The one thing that is different now, though, is that because they're officially relegated and the pressure is fully off, you know, who knows how they're going to play. You know, they might be playing way better than they have done in recent weeks. I bloody hope not, but it certainly could happen. But coming to my score prediction, I'm going to predict a 4-1 win. I was kind of tempted to predict a 4-0, but I, in the end, went for a 4-1 because I just can't see us at the moment keeping clean sheets, even against Norwich, which is depressing. But I'm going to go for a 4-1, a big win, because I want a reaction. And I want a reaction that isn't just for tomorrow, like usually our reactions after bad performances are. I want a reaction that lasts for the remaining, well, 4, maybe 5 games of the season, excluding the Champions League game in August, because that's a while away. I want a reaction. You know, I really, really want a reaction. I don't really care whether Norwich play like a defeated, just relegated team, or whether they're playing without pressure and properly turn up. So like I said, my score prediction is going to be a 4-1 win to the Chelsea. But yeah, guys, that has really been it from me. I hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you are new here, like I said in the beginning, please be sure to subscribe to Blues Fans TV. And if you subscribed already, tell your mates about it and tell them to subscribe. That'd be massively appreciated. And like I also said in the beginning, make sure you drop a like on this video. And of course, if you have any thoughts ahead of the game, down in the comment section below, leave me your score predictions, your predicted lineups, your thoughts on what I said, all of it down in the comments below. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Up to Chelsea. I am excited for the game tomorrow. I really, really hope we can turn it around and get top 4 for the remainder of the season. But I'll see you when I see you.